Parenting Junkie.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Parenting Junkie, the place to go to love parenting and for parenting from love. If you love yoga and you're wondering how you can apply yoga tradition and principles to parenting, this is the video for you. By the end of this, you'll have 10 ways of thinking yoga-like about parenting. If you like this type of content and want to spread the word about peaceful parenting so that we can turn it mainstream, then please hit the like button on this video to make it more discoverable to other parents. My favorite on this list is number 7. I'd love to hear what your favorite is in the comments below. Number 1, practice non-violence. Yogic tradition relies heavily on the practice of non-violence, and that both comes out in physical violence and in emotional and verbal violence too. Now, unfortunately, many of today's mainstream parenting practices are violent. They purposefully hurt children, whether by spanking them, by punishing them, by shaming them, by humiliating them, or by withdrawing our love and attention from them. Practices such as timeouts and spankings are perfect examples, but so is yelling and bribing when it comes to controlling children. So practicing non-violence and committing to being a non-violent person in the world is something we do both in yoga and in peaceful and respectful parenting. Number 2 is to develop a mantra. In yoga, we often use mantras as a way to ground us and to bring us mindfully into the present moment, or into a focus on our intention. Having some peaceful parenting mantras is a good way of reliably kind of aligning you with that North Star intention that you hold for your parenting practice. I turn to our amazing Love Parenting community on Facebook and Instagram for your go-to parenting mantras to keep you zen. And you came up with the most phenomenal mega list. Thank you. These are such awesome mantras, some of which I had never heard of. I know you're going to want to print this out and have it handy and choose a favorite to come back to every day when you're about to lose it. I've made that easy for you with a downloadable PDF, so just click the link below and get yours free. I've also included mentions of the members who came up with these awesome mantras. Thank you to each and every one of you. You rock. Number 3 is simplicity. If you look at a yoga studio, there's usually pretty much nothing in it. There's the mat, the floor, and the walls, and perhaps a couple of inspirational items there. But yoga as a practice needs no things. It really is a very minimalistic tradition, and it really places high value on simplicity. To bring that into parenting is to rely on the mantra of always going a more slow, simple, connected, earthy route. I think this is something that's sorely missing in mainstream parenting and that we definitely need to borrow from yogic tradition. Number 4 is contentment. Yoga is not a competitive sport. I have been to highly westernized yoga studios where there's a lot of comparison and even competition between the yogis. People feeling pressure to wear better yoga clothes than their neighbors or to practice more often or more intensely. This is not yoga. This is sports. But yoga is all about contentment with who you are, what you have, the world as it appears, this moment as it is, and your body and your abilities. Contentment in peaceful parenting is so important, where we don't compare our children to other children, our parenting to other parents, and our resources and lifestyle to other people's. Number 5 is to connect to your breath. In yoga, every single movement that we do, every pose comes from the breath and it connects to the breath throughout. And staying aware of your breath as it enters your nostrils, as it fills and expands your lungs, and as you exhale it, is yoga in many respects. So I want to say that the same is true in peaceful and respectful parenting. If you're an intentional parent, the very best practice that you can start from is connecting to your breath. So as you feel things rise up within you, getting triggered to certain scenarios, wanting to do certain things to your child, or certain reactivity that is happening within you, if you can connect to your breath, if you can notice your breath, and even sometimes manipulate your breath, you can start to calm your nervous system and actually come into greater responsiveness versus reactivity. Connecting to the breath is about noticing the very life force that is pulsing within us. our energy, and the fact that we are alive, and the fact that we are all interconnected, that all of us are breathing. This is a powerful parenting tool like no other, and it's something that we can benefit from teaching our children as well, as they start to get worked up, to notice their breath. The next one is flow and moving meditation. In yoga, there are lots of different styles, and some of them are a flow, such as the flow of the sun salutation, where you move from pose to pose as seamlessly and fluidly, water-like as you can. This is the quality that we want to infuse into our parenting. This moving meditation, as we constantly respond and shape-shift our own form. Many of us feel as parents that we are on a to-do list, that we're on some kind of train that's chugging from station to station to station, and that we need to go from transition A to transition B. And from the moment we wake up till the moment our children go to bed, we're just ticking boxes. Whereas if you come at it with a yogic approach, you are flowing and moving. It's a moving meditation where each and every moment, now I'm washing the dishes, breathing into that. Now someone's tantruming, breathing into that. Now we need to pick them up from school, breathing into that. Number 7 is staying on your own mat. Staying on your own mat is about not watching and worrying about what our neighbors are doing. Oh, he can do a handstand, he's doing advanced inversions, etc., etc. Really focusing on your own practice. And this comes to our comparison with other parents and other families, but it also comes to how much we should be looking at our children's mats and how much we should be staying on our own. My belief is that if we want to be conscious parents, we have to firmly plant ourselves on our own mats and notice our own practice and be present with our own growth and evolution, and not being a guide and a coach and a shaper and molder of our children's practice in life. First and foremost, we must raise ourselves before we can raise them. Looking inwardly to ourselves at ways that we still need to grow and evolve, at things that we still want to work on and to sit with. Number 8 is adjustment. In almost any yoga class I've ever taken, one of the things the teacher has said is, if at any point during the class you need to, you can take child's pose, which means you can curl up on your mat and rest, and you don't have to go through the flow that is currently taking place. It's important in life to know when to step back, when to recalibrate, when to curl inwards, when to rest and meditate on our own needs, and when to prioritize and listen to our bodies and our minds, that some boundaries are getting crossed. In yoga, if something hurts, it means you've gone too far. And I think the same is true in parenting. If something's hurting, it means you need to pull back and recalibrate with yourself, and not just push yourself through those poses and push you and your child forward through life, but rather to pause and to rejoin that flow when it is conducive to you and your unique physique and emotional world. Number 9 is to keep coming back to your mat. Yoga is not a flash in the pan experience. It's not a one-time extreme marathon that you run. It's a day-to-day practice. It's to keep coming back even when you've kind of fallen off the horse, even when you've stopped practicing, even when you feel stiff. It's coming back to the practice as something that sustains you. In parenting, I think we need to keep coming back to our mat. We need to keep learning. We need to keep opening ourselves up to the next level and the next level of our evolution as peaceful people in the world. It takes so much. It takes a lifetime, or maybe many lifetimes, to evolve, to work through our wounds and to grow. And so if you are leaving your practice of spiritual growth, of emotional and psychological growth and healing to a one-time thing that you visit just once in a while or never again, then you don't get that compound effect of the consistent trajectory of coming each and every time to practice. I think parenting needs to be a practice that we keep coming back to, honing in on, to trying again and doing it again. We're never done. You've been there emotionally for your child today, you need to be there again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. You've taken a positive parenting approach today, you need to do it again at dinner and at bedtime and during the night and in the morning. It doesn't end, it's a consistent practice. So you have to keep coming back to your mat. And finally, there's beginner's mind. In yoga, there's this concept that 2 things can really kill a pose. One is thinking that you can't do it. and the other is thinking that you can. And the idea here is that you always have to maintain an openness, an ability to learn again and again and again how to do it. So every time you do a pose, you're different. The pose is different, the situation is different, the cells in your body are different. And we have to allow for this ever-changing by being adaptable and responsive to ourselves, to our inner worlds and to our outer worlds. Beginner's mind when it comes to parenting is realizing that we never really know our children or ourselves because we are all constantly changing. It's that we never really have some final answer. There isn't the perfect pose that you mastered it and you nailed it. There's no mark, there's no evaluation, there's no measurement, there's no competition, there's no medal. There is nothing to be won except constant revisiting of ourselves and of the world and reconnecting to each other. So in parenting, you're never done, you're never there, you're never a peaceful parent. You have to maintain beginner's mind and constantly being in touch with ourselves through compassion and self-awareness.
If you're looking for a supportive community of like-minded parents, I warmly invite you to join our Love Parenting with Avital Facebook group. Plus, head on over to theparentingjunkie.com and sign up for email updates so I can gift you my free PDF guide, 10 easy steps to transform your home into a play-inducing haven.
And of course, subscribe to the channel. Click that red button and be sure to also click the bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video, which is every Monday. Keep on loving parenting and parenting from love because your kids need you almost as much as you need them. Namaste.
The Parenting Junkie.